I am so excited to tell you something. Oh, the best discovery. This new book just keeps going and going and going. But first, obviously, if you have been here before, I am not at home. I am in the Pacific Northwest. I'm in Portland, Oregon, which is where I'm from before I moved to New York. And I am embarking on a week of just writing. This is a week-long writing getaway. If you're new here, my name is Kayla. I am a newbie writer working on writing my memoir. And instead of the formal memoir style nonfiction truth about my life, I've actually decided to take my memoir and turn it into a dystopian fantasy young adult book series. And I'm just getting started. I'm about 22,000 words into draft one of my very first book. And I am so excited about this process. If you've been watching for a while, you know that when I say process, it means basically every time I tune in, I'm learning about myself as a writer and I'm updating something and seeing something new. My husband had to come here for work on a job. And so he's working long hours. Like today he's going to work half the day. Tomorrow he's going to probably work like a 14, 16-hour day and then an 8-hour day and then another 12-hour day and then debrief day. And you know what I'm going to do? Every day I'm going to wake up, I'm going to have coffee. I am going to work out. I'm going to write my book and I'm going to drink wine. And I am so super excited. I'm going to take you along me spending this week, this first week in May. And according to my Sell a Million Books by 2030 goal that I talked about in the last video, my goal this week is to write 5,000 words, which I feel like I should be able to accomplish. That feels pretty good. I feel like every time I sit down, I write over 1,000. And if I have literally, today is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to write, I think I can come up with it. I probably won't have writing time Tuesday, so I have 4 days to try to write 5,000 words. Not only am I going to work on writing those 5,000 words, but I am just getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the world building of my fantasy series. Whenever I get on an airplane, which we had to fly, I feel like I always go into this portal of like thoughts and discovery and ideas. And the same thing happened for my book. So I cannot wait to share with you through this week the downloads that I had in my airplane portal about the world building in my series. Let's have some fun. Starting at 22,702 words. I do, in fact, need a coffee. So we are going to go downstairs to the coffee shop. This one in the lobby, like in many hotels. We're going to get myself, do I want another cappuccino? Do I want Americano? Because this is not my house. I never know where my things are. They're by the door. Let's go get coffee. When I was on the airplane, I got like the best downloads. I started getting deeper into the specifics of the world building about what's going to be happening in this book and in this series. I'm reading this book called Permission by Elissa Altman, who I went and met her in real life at her book event in the Lower East Side at the book club bar. And let me grab the book for you, actually. Our hotel room is actually like a loft, so I had to go upstairs to get this. This book, Permission by Elissa Altman, and what it really is about the permission to tell your story and the story that affects you in the story of your life. She's talking more about a traditional memoir style is what she writes, and she teaches workshops on it. But when I was reading it, it just really gave me a lot of ahas, literally gave me permission to share my story. And she describes a lot about anything that affects your life and changes how you live your life is part of your story to tell. And I was just thinking about the reason why my life is the way it is because largely one of the ways is my parents were the way they were. And so in my book, I do talk a lot about what creates my mom in the current time, because by the time this part of my story is being written, my parents are already divorced. I'm already like not talking to my dad, things like that. And so I talk about like in that time, what's going on. Like we really lived in poverty, and in that book, poverty, and in this storyline, which is true. It's so funny to talk about it like the storyline, even though it is my life. Poverty is the reason why my mom was so neglectful. My mom had to work 2 and 3 jobs. My mom ended up with a drinking problem. So even when she was home, she was drinking, or when she was off work, she was at the bar, things like that. And also like poverty mindset with money. So money mismanagement. And we always lived in poverty, right? And so sometimes food was scarce. We were homeless a couple times, different things like that. My mom was also poor and choosing husbands. But anyways, all of my mom's choices really fueled my life and my life experience for obvious reasons. She's my mom. She raised me. What I think will be so fucking awesome is to write a prequel to my duology that is my mom's story, so that you get my mom's perspective. And even thinking about it right now, like I can feel the pressure behind my eyes getting wet, and because I want to cry just at the thought of like what made my mom live the life that she lived, what made my mom make the choices that she made. And when I was in college getting my first degree, I studied families in poverty. And I remember, and I was studying abroad in Taiwan. I was studying families in poverty in Taiwan, and I lived there for 4 months. And I remember on that trip studying poverty, just having all of these ahas about, oh my God, my mom doesn't hate me. My mom doesn't not care about me. My mom doesn't want to support me. It's not that my mom doesn't want to be there for me. It's that my mom's brain cannot handle those things. My mom is in fight or flight so bad. Like when you think about Maslow's hierarchy, love is at the top, and the very bottom is like food and shelter. And it's like my mom was worried about food and shelter, and we couldn't even get to the top. And I just remember having so much compassion for her. And that was a long time ago. And since then, I've really gone in and out. And even after that, there's a lot of times where I still had a lot of resentment, where it's like I forgot everything that I learned. Now I'm in like a really good place where I've really forgiven her. And even though we do talk some now, we actually text almost monthly now, which is really, really cool. When, only like a year ago, we didn't like say really happy birthday or Merry Christmas. We haven't spent a holiday together since 10 years ago. And that was even rare because we hadn't spent a holiday together like since 10 years before that. I just think it would be so, so powerful to write a prequel about how we got there. So it starts before I was even born with my mom's life. And then I got to thinking, damn, my brother and my dad are going to come back in the second half of the duology, because that's what's really happened in my life. In my real life, my brother and my dad came back into my world because my brother started getting into even more legal trouble. And I was the one, I like started writing to him every day when he was in jail, and I started visiting him every week. And in order to visit him every week, I went to my dad's, and we would carpool down because it was a 4.5 hour drive one way to visit my brother for an hour and a half. And we would do that every weekend. And so my dad and my brother came back into my life. And so I'm going to write about that in the second book. So I was like, what if I think my brother's story impacts me so much personally, because as my siblings go, I'm one of 6. But he was the one that I felt the closest to. And again, I can feel the emotion in me. And I know you can see it now because I can hear it in my voice and feel it like visibly. But he's the one who I would say I probably have still the most tenderest feelings for and about. And he's the relationship that if I could have any relationship back, it would be the one with him. Even as kids, I think we got along the most. We played the most, and it was so much fun. But he just ended up in like a really dangerous path. And now I think he seems stable now from afar. I don't know because we don't talk and we haven't, but he went down a really dangerous place where I feel like I had to fear for my life multiple times, many times, and my life at his hands. And so that is something that, of course, I had to break ties with him for that, specifically for my and my husband's personal safety. But I'm like, what if I also then wrote his story? And it wouldn't necessarily be like a prequel. I don't really know, but it would be, and it would show his background, because something that I don't want and that I don't believe is, I think it'll be really easy to read my story. And the reason why I think it'll be easy to believe this is because it's how I felt for a really long time. But I think it'd be really easy to read my story and consider my family villains. Like, my mom was a neglectful alcoholic. My sister had my dad's temper, and all she ever did was pick fights with me and fight my brother. Many, many things, in trouble with the law, ended up in jail for the majority of his life, etc. My dad was physically abusive. So it's really, really easy to see how all of their influences negatively impacted me. And what I truly believe is, yes, that is true. And they had reasons to react and act that way. And that's what makes forgiveness, growing up, healing so complicated. Like, no matter how hard things were with my brother, I have so much compassion for him. And it makes me think so much about just like anybody who's ever a villain, or anybody who's ever like, oh, that person's bad, they don't deserve this. And I'm like, do they not deserve that? They might have made a bad choice, but I believe everybody deserves forgiveness and stuff. So I just think telling these other perspectives, I think writing a book about my dad would be amazing. And I also think it'd be really interesting for me. Like, I barely know my dad. Even as a kid, my dad did not share. My dad did not talk. He did tell really great stories around the campfire, but there's so many just interesting relationship dynamics where, like, my dad was the most fun parent, but he was also the biggest asshole, and he was obviously physically abusive. So it's weird, the feelings and emotions that come with it. And so I know my dad has a crazy story that made him that way, because I know my dad didn't know his dad. And so my dad had like his mom, my grandma, who I've never met, I've only seen a picture of. I'm pretty sure she had a bunch of kids from a bunch of different baby daddies, and my dad was one of them. And it's like, of course, my dad grew up in an unstable household himself. How would he know how to build a stable household? And he had like a lot of temperament issues and things like that. So there's just so many things, and I want that to be part of the story. I want that to be part of the story. And so since I'm not going to work all that into this duology, I want to make a universe. John was trying to name it like, we have the Massiverse, we have the MCU, we have Brandon Sanderson, or whatever his name is, has the Cosmere. So we are going to have something. And instead of being one book, this is my drawing from the airplane, it's going to be a multi-book. It's no longer just a duology. There's going to be at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've been considering if my sister would have. It seems unfair for her to not have a background, but if I'm really honest, that is the most unhealed, I think, relationship that I have. I would want that book. If I do, it'd be the last one that I wrote. But anyways, this week, I'm going to be waking up and having coffee. I'm going to be working out. I'm going to be writing, and then I'm going to be drinking wine, maybe writing a little bit more, and just enjoying staying in this beautiful hotel. We're staying at Cascada, and it's literally my favorite hotel I've ever stayed in. Now, we've stayed in some luxurious places, but this is like the most eco-friendly / luxurious place that I've stayed combined, which are two things that I love. And I'm like, how can I just make this in my life? It is a little bit like Japanese style minimalist for me. I do like a little bit more flair and not so many straight lines, but it's super comfortable. It's super beautiful. It's super vibey. And I think it's going to be the perfect backdrop to write. Let's get started. Don't know if I checked the time before I got started, but it is now 4:47, and I have dinner in exactly 1 hour, and I need to leave at 5:30. So I have 45 minutes to get ready, get changed, which honestly is more than enough time for me. I am a low maintenance girly. Holy moly. So today I started at 22,702 words. So 22,700 basically. I am at 25,200. So that would be 3,000 minus 2. I wrote 2,800 words today. feeling like that 5,000 word goal is in reach. I feel really good. I guess I just really got into it and just like flowed. I don't even 4:48. I'm pretty sure John left at 12:30-ish. Because I'm pretty sure he was where he was supposed to be is at 1. Like, I had no idea almost 4 hours have gone by. Like, that blows my mind. Talk about flow state. But that felt really good. I actually went through, and something that I hadn't done before is I didn't have names on the chapters, but I realized, I don't know if these are going to be the real names, but I went and named all the chapters in the Google Doc just so that I could look at them, because now that I'm getting further into the story, I keep looking back to kind of get my bearings, or I want to go back to a certain time and look at something that I've written to reference it. And I realize having the chapter names will really, really help me, because it just was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I currently was writing chapter 12. I was adding that chapter in. I'd already started writing chapter 13, but I wasn't ready to get there yet, because that is going to be the midpoint. This chapter 12, I think, is the last part that I will write in fun and games, because I do need about 3,000 more words, 5,000 more words in this to make it to the midpoint. But I do know that I'm going to add them in the debate, because my debate basically doesn't exist. So I do know that will be added there. So I really feel like when that is added, this will be a very good balanced first half. As I've been writing this, though, one of the things that I've kind of told you guys before is I keep hinting at, I think this is going to be like 50,000, 55,000 words. I don't think so. I had gone and checked in how many words was Percy Jackson. It was more than that. How many words was Harry Potter? It was more than that. And when I think about, Harry Potter's very descriptive. When I think about Percy Jackson, it's very straightforward. And I'm kind of deciding which way do I want to go. I love descriptive writing, so I think I really want to go that way. And I know that when I go back and do my very first revision, I'm going to be beefing this up with so much visualization. So, I just know that I am. And there's a lot of things that when I first started writing the first 4 or 5 chapters, I didn't have as strong of a vision of the withering that would be there and establishing that in the community. So I'm going to have to write in a lot more of that. So this is going to end up being longer than I anticipated, which I think is fine, because remember, this was also going to be 2 separate books. I described that in another video before, where I realized these things that happen. I used to think this was going to be a trilogy, but really book 1 and 2 that I had plotted out are going to become book 1, and then book 3 will stand alone as book 2. And so it makes sense that this might be longer, because I'm putting all of those events together, because I think they flow better in terms of a catalyst and in terms of all of the different things that are happening. I feel like the way that I was planning on writing it, we would have had to wait way too long to get some magic, and nobody wants that. So I'm really excited about the progress that I had today. Now I'm going to, lay flat on the bed for a minute, because I realize my brain has been working really hard. Then get ready. John should be coming back probably in the next 9 minutes, but he's usually late. Don't tell him I told you that, but he knows. It's probably fine. He also watches these. I wonder if he'll catch that. And then I'm going to get ready, and then we're going to go eat some delicious food. That's one thing about Portland that I love, is the food, no matter what, is so good. We had the best sandwich today from a food cart across the street. That's what's so phenomenal, is you can get such good food in Portland when you could pay $200 for your meal, which of course is expensive, or you could go buy a freaking sandwich from a food truck and it's still so good. There's no mediocre food here. And so that's so nice. You can expect everything you put in your mouth to be freaking awesome. And you can make a sex joke about that if you want, but I am signing off for today, and I'll check back in tomorrow, because I said I'm going to write every day. Wow, this hat is too big for my head, but it's so worth it. When you run uphill for 1.25 miles to see this. Man, living in New York now, I come back and I'm now I see why everyone's the Pacific Northwest is so green. Because it is. It's so beautiful. Today is a perfect day for running. Oh my God, look. came to Portland for my husband to do a photo shoot, and there's 3 different locations that they're doing the photo shoot in, and one of them was at this beautiful falls here in the Columbia River Gorge. And so I decided to tag along because there's a 2-mile, well, not according to my watch, but there's a 2-mile loop around the top of the falls. And so I just went on a trail run. I did the loop one way and did the loop back. It ended up being 3.6 miles for me, but I just thought it would be fun to, there goes my bag. I just thought it'd be fun to like get out. I haven't trail run in forever. Obviously, I haven't been in the Pacific Northwest for a while and had the opportunity, and it just felt so good. I'm sweaty, which is great. They are going to be here until probably like 1 o'clock shooting, and it's 9. So I brought snacks, coffee, and my laptop and sweats to put on because it's like going to be 53 degrees and this isn't going to cut it. Perfect running weather, but not perfect sitting outside in a tank top weather. So I'm going to camp out, funny, no pun intended, at this picnic table while they're doing the shoot by the falls and all of that. And I'm going to see how much more writing I can get done to work towards that 5,000 word goal. Day 2, let's get after it. John said terrible place to write, and I said that's what I was thinking. How ugly. Also, yay service and hotspots. So much fun out on that run. It was so much fun to do a little writing outside. That was the first time that I had done that really at all. So far, I've written in like cafes, a Soho house, obviously my own home, and I actually really liked it. The problem was I was so cold. And then when I went to go be around the people, like I was asking to go sit in a car, and it was like, then when you're around all the people that were there for the photo shoot and whatnot, which I totally didn't interrupt John, but I do know the people that are, that own the business that the photo shoot was for. So then we ended up just like talking and chatting, and I came back here to the hotel, showered, took a hot shower, which felt so good, took a nap for like 20 minutes, which was amazing. Then just ate a little bit of chicken shawarma, which also so good. Now I'm going to have a glass of wine. I'm going to sit on the floor and I am going to get some writing done. I wrote like 1,000 words before, which brings us up to like 4,000 already, which is wild for my 5,000 goal. And it's only day 2 of writing. But I do want to write more because I did stop in the middle of like a scene. I was really excited to write, but I kept like sitting on my hands and I kept feeling too cold. And writing outside, that was my very first time doing that. This is also my very first time not writing at a table. So I'm going to try sitting on the floor here in the living room of our hotel. And I've also never written under the influence of anything but caffeine. So this was a gifted wine that the hotel gave to us. So I'm going to have a glass of this while I write and while I listen to a Spring at Hogwarts vibey background video. Oh, it's slightly effervescent. Not what I expected. Well, I already wrote another 1,000 words, so we got to 5,000 already. And I can feel my brain deteriorating a little bit, which I feel almost a little disappointed about. I feel really excited that I got to 5,000, but I really felt like I wanted to sit here and write for 4 hours and just get lost in it. And I don't know if it's sitting on the floor. I don't know what it is. I think I feel a little bit tired. But what I'm trying to do, and you know, if you are not new here, if you watch my other videos, that I'm trying to honor when my brain gets stale. And it's like, but this feels really confusing because I feel really excited about this part that's happening, but like the ideas feel like they are not falling out of my face. So I think what I'm going to do is take a break and have no more expectations of the evening. I'm not going to try to write more or come up with any more ideas. Maybe I'll watch something on TV. Maybe I'll read something. Then after I take this break, if ideas come, I think I'll probably end up starting with pen and paper. It's been a little while since I've done that because I've been just writing this fun and games section for so long. So I'm going to do a little bit of paper and pen if it comes to that. But if not, then I'm signing off for today. So we'll see. Do I see you again tomorrow? I actually don't know if I'll write on Sunday because I'm going to go see my friend's baby. She had a baby like a week ago. And so I get to go visit him tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. But I will definitely be back on Monday if not. Morning. It is Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then we still have Tuesday left. And then this week getaway of writing will be over. And it's really amazing. I've had so many ahas about myself as a writer, about how I want to write, because this is the first time I have created the opportunity for me to write many, many days in a row. Like if you've been around and you've been watching this for a while and you've watched my whole playlist of all my writing vlogs as I've been figuring out this process, I have mostly been writing 1 day a week. I'm trying to get up to 2 days a week. And then this came and I'm like, oh my God, I have 5 days where I could write. And so I think I've learned some things. One of the things that I realized is you'll notice when you get to this part of the video, I didn't write yesterday. I realized even with a writing getaway, I like a day off. I don't like forcing myself to create. Like I just think weekends, days off are really, really important. I think in building the creative process, I found writing a book is so different than like work, even though this technically is something that I am prioritizing like work in terms of the importance of it and making space and time for it. The things that make me the best are making sure I have space for my brain, making sure I have space for me, making sure I'm doing things that I love and creativity. And regardless of that, I just didn't want to write every single day, I realized, even though it's a lot of fun. So yesterday I went and one of my really great friends, one of my best friends, Becca, had a baby and he's literally like a week and a half old. And so I got to hold him and play with him. We spent the whole day together before that. I went on a run around the neighborhood that we're staying in. It's just a beautiful day. So that was really nice. And then last night we met up with some other friends at a wine bar. And then after that, we went out for dinner with my brother-in-law for his birthday. And so yesterday was just a beautiful day full of fun. And I need to remind myself, especially after we moved to New York and we're like building our businesses and my husband is doing his music full time and building his new business. It's like, it's really easy to work 7 days in a row. And it feels fun when I do that. But then after like day 8 or 9, I get drained. And so yesterday I was like, you know what? It's literally Sunday. You're taking the day off. You're not doing anything in front of a laptop or anything like that. You're just having fun. And I loved that. Something else that I realized I was reflecting on Saturday when I went and wrote out after I did that trail run, it was so much fun writing out in nature at that picnic table, but I got so cold and it was just, I had so many things I wanted to write, but my fingers were just so cold. I couldn't physically do it. So that was actually really frustrating. And then I came back here and you saw I tried to write and I did 1,000 words at the picnic table. I, for the first time, tried to write with wine. I didn't even finish drinking that glass of wine, honestly. And I tried to write sitting on the floor at the coffee table. No, I just was like not comfortable. It just felt stale. And it was also, I think it was only like 4:30 Pacific time, but I was like, my brain is just not functioning. And I wrote another 1,000 words, and this is like a chapter I'm really fucking excited to write, and it just wasn't coming. So it was like in the morning, my brain was ready, but my physical body wasn't because it was too cold. And then in the evening, I emotionally was ready, but my brain was not participating. And I realized a couple things. One, I like being at my desk for writing. I like feeling like my space is organized. I like feeling like I have whatever I need. And that's when I do the best. That's when I get into that flow where I'm like, oh my goodness, 3 hours has gone by. I didn't even realize, right? Where I am in a desk where I have all my stuff and everything's there. I'm sitting in a chair at the desk, which I think is kind of wild. I didn't really, I don't know, think about that, but I really need a table and to be sitting. And the other thing too that I've realized is I don't like writing very first thing in the morning. Like I haven't even attempted it because I know my brain is not even part of it. And maybe I will try that someday. But my brain just doesn't, it's not ready. I like to journal, have my coffee, get a walk in, talk to John, things like that. But I realized I also don't like to write late at night. Like I was editing one of my videos that'll go up this week, so the one before this one, and in that I was watching myself reflect and be like, yeah, I was trying to write. It was like 7 p.m. and I just couldn't get into it. And I was like, dang, yeah. And then here, when I was sitting on the floor here, it was 4:30 Pacific time, but I'm still on Eastern time. So that's actually 7:30 p.m. So I really think my brain, my writing brain, probably wants to work around 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Like I need to get my morning started, get going, like maybe no earlier than like 9 a.m. And then I like to be done by the afternoon. And I don't know if that's like trained into me because I used to teach. And so I would teach like 7 to 4. And so by 4, like I don't love late work hours. That is not my brain. I wake up and roll. And like when I do other work, like my coaching work or my administrative work, I can freaking roll out of my bed and start doing it. So my creative brain starts a little bit later, but it all likes to stop by 4 p.m. So those are some things that I think this trip and writing multiple days in a row has really helped me with. Today may or may not be my last day writing. I think I'll have time tomorrow, but tomorrow John and I are going to have a celebration day. He's been working his ass off. That day that we went to, and I did the trail run around the falls, he worked a 16-hour day with this photo shoot. Then yesterday he worked planning it. Today he's on site again for 8 hours, which it like feels so short compared to last time because they did 2 locations last time and they're doing 1 location now. And so tomorrow I know he has a meeting in the morning, so I might write before that, but Cascada, where we're staying here, has like thermal pools. So we're going to go soak in the afternoon. And then they have a really delicious restaurant that we have just been so excited to eat at. So we're going to eat at that. Tuesday evening is going to be a celebration day. So this may or may not be my last day writing. An update though, my goal for this writing getaway was to get 5,000 words. And I completed that on Saturday. So between, did we fly here on Thursday or Wednesday? I can't even remember. Anyways, I already got to 5,000 words. So everything right now and tomorrow is bonus to that, which is great because I do want to get my book to 30,000 words by the end of May, which would be an average of over 5,000 words a week. So I'm really excited about that. That feels really on par. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up there. I'm in that window of the 10 to 4. I'm going to sit at the desk upstairs in the loft of this room. And I am so excited to get after it. I've already watched my YouTube writing vlog of someone else that gets me amped up. I'll probably listen to some music, definitely pour some water, definitely get some more water, and I'll take this rest of this coffee with me, and we are going to do this work until I do have to work today, but it's very, very exciting before going to another birthday dinner for my brother-in-law because today is his actual birthday, and so we'll bring him his gift today, which I've been dying to give him since we've seen him multiple times, but it hasn't been his birthday yet. But anyways, before all of that, writing time. That was really awesome. I think I wrote for maybe an hour and I got almost 1,300 more words. I am at 28,297 and I'm pretty sure I was at 27,000 when I started this morning. That felt really good. I was really in the zone and I love this scene. This is the scene where my main character, Judy, she has realized her power. She's kind of been like exploring it on her own, but she is with her mentors and her mentors just walked her through like actually using it one time and discovering this. And so this feels really good. I do want to take a break right now because I just like really want to take a shower and wash my hair before my meeting. And like I haven't even gotten ready. I'm going to make a couple notes about what I want to write next, some things that I realize that she's thinking that I want to be able to hash out, but I just don't feel like doing that right now. So I'm going to make those notes, then I'm going to run and take a shower. I'm super pumped about how in an hour I could do something so meaningful. And that's what I think has been really interesting too, that I've learned is I don't have to write for 5 hours a day to get a lot of writing done. And that makes me really excited as well. And I like this writing before my meeting thing because I was able to really get in the vibe, which I wasn't sure if I'd be able to. So even on a work day, when I'm back home, this feels feasible. Oof, this feels so good.